Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here, and back with Paddy again for our weekly Cardano live stream. Paddy, great to have you here again.
Hi, Paul. How's it going, mate? Doing well.
Right. Good stuff. Let's see. Anyone coming into the chat? Let us know if you can hear us. Kinoko, good to have you with us for Cardano.
I have to confess, I'm getting over a bit of a man flu, I think, or something going on. But hopefully the voice holds up. I should be all right.
Them man flus can be dangerous, so they can.
They're deadly. They really are deadly. Very dangerous.
Oh yeah, worst kind of sickness you can get.
Yeah, people were complaining about coronavirus. Many people haven't suffered man flu. That's the problem.
You've just killed the stream. You can't say that word.
Oh no, we're done for man flu.
Yeah, we'll stick to man flu. Yeah, remind me today as well to I'm just opening up a notepad here for timestamps.
Yeah.
So that I can add them in easier than having to watch everything back tomorrow. But welcome everyone joining us. If don't forget to share it out, help bring others into it, and helps generate more conversation. Any questions along the way, just throw them in the chat box. We'll answer anything we can.
Yeah.
And we have a few different topics, but always good to get recommendations from people out there. If there's topics you want us to cover, then let us know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's oh yeah, we should look at Argo.
Yeah,
I'd put a tweet out the other day, looking for a few links. So if you have any links that we should look at, whether it's project overview sites or anything like that, do let us know, because I want to get looking into it more. I haven't spent much time on it. A lot of people talk about it. Should we have Rick on a while ago? I know he's a big fan.
Yeah.
He does tweets about it regularly, so I think we should.
Yeah, I had the team on it's well over a year ago now. It might even be pushing 2 years ago. So definitely well overdue catch up to see what's going on. Lots of people within Cardano are big fans because of the connections with the Ergo founder and Cardano, having previously worked for IOG. I'm not sure actually if he's still part of the staff, or I know he was part of the research, and a lot of what Ergo do, sometimes they do things earlier than Cardano, and then we're looking to do it. I know they're proof of work compared to us being proof of stake, but they're a bit different than other proof of work chains out there. But it's definitely a topic. I don't know if we do it some weddings tonight where we try and get a few Ergo people on, or whether do a separate video, an update on Ergo. We'll have a chat about it and see.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's an ADA airdrop in 45 minutes. So
that's the first one that's happened while we've been on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. And episode 9, not doing too bad now. We're sticking very regular now, doing well, I think.
yeah, it's going all right. So yeah, the first Wednesday they've been live, there's been very well. Good stuff.
And today is 2 years since the Merry hard fork. So it's 2 years today. 2 years ago today, we got native assets on Cardano. So that's the first time people were able to create their own tokens on Cardano or create their own NFTs. And there was really a big boom in that first year, I suppose, for NFT projects. They were predominantly the bigger ones that launched then, because projects launching tokens, there wasn't a huge amount they could do on chain at that time. We didn't have smart contracts, and they could have created their tokens, but couldn't do a huge amount at that point outside of NFTs. And we really seen a big uptick. Some week we're going to do an NFT show as well, try and get a few people on from the NFT community to go on and talk about what's going on there, some of the latest info, and not just specific projects, but talk about NFTs in general and where that space could go. So if anyone has recommendations on who they'd like to see coming on for that, let us know as well.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that going in next week or the week after. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about it long enough about doing an NFT one. So we might shoot for next Wednesday to have it predominantly be NFTs. We'll still do if there's any big updates for Cardano, we'll cover them at the start, but trying to focus on NFTs and what's going on in that space as well.
Yeah. All right, sure. Well, we get into it. A few interesting topics today. So wanted to show the picture I tweeted March 1st, 2021. So just a reminder. I actually didn't think it was 2 years ago when you reminded me, Paul. So it's flown by, I think. And a lot of people will probably have forgotten about the Mary hard fork, but I think it was probably one of the biggest. If I would say between that and smart contracts, I guess it's first or second in either way, depending on what way you look at it. But for me, it's flown by, and I can't believe it actually.
Yeah, it's been, in some ways it's been a quick 2 years, and in other ways it feels like a lifetime. Like time in crypto doesn't move at the same speed as outside of crypto. It's if you're in crypto a year, it feels like at least 5 years, especially when you're going through the different cycles that we've had over the last 2 years as well.
Is that why I'm going gray? Is that what that is? I was wondering.
That's just getting old, Paddy, and kids do that to you as well.
I'm gonna blame crypto. I'm gonna blame Cardano for my new gray hairs.
Okay.
So I have just a few interesting stats to go over. So what we have is on Blockchain Insights. There was, you can see from March 1st till today, 2021 to March 1st, 2023, we are at almost 8 million native tokens on Cardano. You can see that's a pretty good growth. The trajectory of that is quite awesome. So where are we going to be in a couple of years? Yeah, who knows? But it's just to show the growth in that area and what Mary brought. And that's all of your NFTs, your other tokens, that's everything that's on there. So it's insane. It's growing exponentially. The other side of it is token issues per day. What was going on in... okay, so there must have been big drops along one day. That was 150,000.
What was that? 2022, was it?
Yeah, 6th of October. It doesn't, the register thing isn't working correctly, but
okay.
There seems to be a day where there was 100,000 along those lines. Anyways, not sure what that was.
No, was Husky token in around then? Did they make a big push or something? Or
is that when they got the record or something? Was it?
I'm not sure. Not sure what the significance of that date is. I'll look it up after though, or if anyone here knows what went on around that time frame.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to show that a few other stats. So it's 2 years roughly, in terms of other things are going on longer. But you can see delegated wallets has been increasing totally at a stake. You could say over the long term, it's pretty much the same, which is good. 70 plus, I think, is great. So that's fine. Average per wallet, that's not too important. The number of wallets is great. You like to see that continuously increasing. New wallets per day, it's been going down for quite a while, I suppose.
But I think if you look across different chains as well, it's very similar. It's kind of during the bear market, generally people get less interested. There's less new people coming into the space.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's good to see the growth, and it's good to see, and I hadn't really thought about going and checking from a particular date. So yeah, that's awesome. I think it's good to see, where we're going, where it's happening, the different areas that are expanding. Where will we be 5-10 years? Who knows? But those 2 years flew by for me.
Yeah, definitely. After the next bull cycle, it'll be interesting to see what these type of stats look like then. Yeah.
Anyways, it leads me on to, I was going to go into TVL for a bit of a chat. Anybody has any questions? Just throw them up, a few comments.
There's one. Actually, we're going to come to SHEN. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do TVL first? They're both in around.
We can do SHEN now since the comments is up. So yeah, the SHEN airdrop happened yesterday. Initially, I was quite disappointed with the rewards, thinking it was 4 epochs worth. in one transaction, which would have been very disappointing. So then it came out to be, where's my picture? It's going to be per epoch. So they obviously had a few epochs to airdrop. So the way I figure that is then every 4 you'll get 4 epochs. Is that the way they're working it?
I'm not fully sure. I've seen it said different ways that they're going to do it every epoch, and then I've seen it originally it was meant to be every 20 days, so every 4 epochs. But we've got a drop yesterday and we got a drop today. I don't know if we're going to get another one in the next day or so. Personally, I would rather they hold them all. Just you save the network fees when you do multiple epochs, and if you have smaller amounts of SHEN, then you really don't want to be airdropping them if you have to be sending 1 ADA or less than 1 ADA to different wallets.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense to round it up.
Well, 20 days would probably be better. It's kind of like World Mobile. You claim every month. Sort of removes that little bit of transaction loss that you would have from doing multiple. But yeah, I would go for 20 days. But in terms of talking about the rewards, you know what? I initially thought, and someone can try and find if there's links and stuff, that it was expected to be around 10%. And I'm sure I had seen something somewhere. Hopefully I'm not making it up in my head, which could be true also, of an expectation that we would get up to around there at the beginning. And that's why I was originally disappointed. So, and then that obviously put me in the overdrive thinking, well, this is nowhere near 10%, but obviously it was one epoch. But still, I had sort of had this expectation, and I don't know why. And I've read a few things from a lot of different people posting on the tweet that I put out, and it sort of made me think and realize a few different things. But I still thought there was going to be the closer to maybe 8-10%. And it doesn't mean that it's not a good reward for people. It's good. It is 1% better than ADA staking. Does that forego the risk reward? That's for everybody to decide themselves.
Yeah, it's just a little bit better than staking rewards right now. But then if you look at it, depends on the price that you buy in at, because if you bought in the first day, then if you tried to sell everything off right now, you'd get back slightly less ADA as well. Now they have changed the minimums and changed some of the fees. So it's not just as bad for selling at the contract, but if you're selling a smaller amount, then going to a DEX and doing it there is the best place right now. So yeah, like you say, everyone needs to decide if the potential rewards that you're getting here, which is just slightly above staking rewards from what we've seen so far, whether that is worth the risk of holding SHEN. We've seen, like, if it goes below 400%, you can't mint any more SHEN. So you would start to see some people selling off on DEXs at that point, I would say, at a discount. To me, if you have confidence in where the protocol is going to go longer term, then if we go below 400%, there could be some decent opportunities there. Yeah, what you showed there with Wing Riders being one of the DEXs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go on to. That's just to highlight your point where you said opportunities. I had that ready to go. I'm ready for you, Paul. I'm on the ball today.
Yeah, so just on that there, they're saying actually people who hold SHEN on DEXs, you will get the airdrop as well. That I don't know if people who held it on the DEXs got the first airdrop or if it's going to be from the next one. Their article said from the ones going forward after this, but I did see 1 or 2 people say they got an airdrop. Maybe they originally had the SHEN in their wallet, and at the time of the snapshot, it was still in their wallet, and then they put it onto a DEX. If that's the case, they would have got it anyway to their wallet. But it looks like going forward, even if you hold it on a DEX, you still get the airdrop, which I think is important and will encourage more people to hold it, because if you put it onto a DEX, then you can actually yield farm on it as well. You can put it into some of the pools and get the extra rewards on that. And to me, that's the only way at the minute that it balances out the risk to reward ratio for me. And that if you go on and you do yield farming, then you earn extra. And while it is, if you go into a pool that is ADA SHEN, the volatility should be lower than on some other pairs. Like if you go into another native asset versus ADA, the volatility could be a lot bigger. But if you go in against ADA and SHEN, I would expect the price to be fairly similar. You will have some impermanent loss, but I wouldn't expect it to be too bad. Whatever rewards you get back should counteract that. And now that we know you get the airdrop, I'll probably put in some of the SHEN that I have onto the dexes to try it out then. I think MinSwap are going to have, there's a proposal gone in a MinSwap for farming on that, and Wing Riders already have it there.
Yeah, that's what. Just note that that's a scam at the bottom, so nobody touch that. But so if I do 1-to-1 here, if I'm going to add liquidity, it's going to be a 1-to-1, yeah. So I add 1,000.
It won't be 1-to-1. You will still have to put in slightly more ADA than SHEN, because the price of SHEN is 108 ADA or 109, something like that. Yeah, so it's when you're providing liquidity, it has to be the same dollar value on both sides.
Yeah, so a lot about 1,090 ADA to about 1,000 SHEN. Could be good adding that on top of your other rewards. So if you are talking that you're going to get roughly, say, 4 to 5% on SHEN at the minute, and you do get, another 3 technically from Wing Riders or whatever other DEXs you decide to use, maybe it'd be MinSwap, that could be a decent enough earner for having tokens in, a stablecoin per se. It's technically, but not, if you know what I mean. Long term, I would say it's probably a good move, not financial advice, because it's likely going to be in the future, SHEN and Djed is going to be widely used. DeFi, as you know, on Cardano it's still an infant, so it's not going to go crazy at the minute. But I think eventually, in the long term, what will be going on there will be impressive. And that could be a good way. And that just leads into what you said earlier, Paula. If someone's looking SHEN, don't bother Djed, the website. They could buy and sell it on DEXs, which where I would prefer people to do it.
Yeah, and see, Jesse says here about the 100 ADA fee hurts the most for us small holders, especially now they've already changed it. I don't think we touched on that yet, but they have changed some of the fees. Don't know if we mentioned it last week, but the change has come into effect now. Yeah, that article there. So the minting and burning of Djed and SHEN is down from, or the minting is down from 5,000 down to 1,000, and then burning is also down. But if you are burning under, and burning means that you're going to the contract, you're sending your SHEN into the contract, burning the SHEN and getting back your ADA, I would say you're still better off going to a DEX. Always check the liquidity. I think MinSwap has got more liquidity. Initially, Wing Riders was the only one that had enough liquidity really for any decent size order. But I think MinSwap has caught up now as well, which is good to see. But I would say go to a DEX if you are going to sell smaller amounts, because even though the fees have been reduced, it was a 100 ADA operational fee. That's now down to 25 ADA, but the 1.5% is still there as well. So if you're selling or not selling, you're burning smaller amounts or even minting smaller amounts, I would say you're still better on a DEX, because the 25 ADA can push up that percentage on you, even though it's only small now.
Yeah. Well, good changes though, and what I'm likely going to do is I'll probably do the ADA SHEN stuff on Wing Riders. Stick it in and forget about it for I don't know how long and see how it goes. It's probably going to be my process. A lot of people do a lot of other things. I'd love to see other places taking it up. So it's probably early days. Like you say, MinSwap's probably going to be quite soon, I would expect. And I'd love to see more places have it.
Yeah, and see 56 Hopper Road. Good to see you again. I think here most weeks now so far. Did the rewards come as a regular transaction? Yep, they just come in as a normal ADA transaction into your wallet. If you go and actually look at the transaction, you can see that they used a feature on Cardano that lets you send to multiple different wallets all in the one transaction. So if you go in and look at it, the TX ID, you'll see that it's actually, I forgot to look and see how many it was, but I would presume 20, 30 different wallets the ADA was sent out to all through one transaction, which is good to see.
Yeah.
What else have I missed? Melvin's asking, we won't go into that now. I think every week so far we've talked about contingent staking, but we're going to talk about governance and that later on. So we might touch a little bit on contingent staking then.
Cool. Well, I think that was a good update on Djed. I think slight confusion on my part for anybody else attacks me anymore. It's gonna be okay. And it's growing, it's progressing, it's going great. I just like to complain sometimes.
Look, it's still very early days, so there's definitely lots of risks to holding SHEN or holding Djed. You should always be able to get out due to the way things are over collateralized from SHEN holders. But holding SHEN, there is always there's a decent bit of risk there. So people need to weigh up the options of the potential rewards they're getting back. So if the markets start to tank down again, that puts a lot of pressure on the price of SHEN and the collateral that's there to over collateralize SHEN. So just weigh up the options for yourself. I have a very small amount of my portfolio put into SHEN, and it's part of the allocation that I have to DeFi. So we'll see where it goes. If something did happen, it's not going to kill my portfolio or anything. It's like anything, always split it up, spread your risk out a bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say do the same. There's some farming going on if anybody wants to do that as well. But we'll move on to TVL. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put this timestamp here.
There we go.
So I remember.
So what's been going on in TVL? The main thing is we are at technically an all-time high for TVL for DeFi on Cardano from an ADA perspective. It's different when you change it to price. Maybe during the middle of the bull market it was flying, but from an ADA perspective, this is really good. This is really good because we have so many projects growing and progressing and adding to the TVL. You look over the last 1 month, all these DEXs and DeFi protocols that are coming online, they're growing. Not sure why Liquid doesn't have a 1 month change, because it's probably it's not out of
they're not live a full month just yet.
Okay, gotcha. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Minsap winning the race. Indigo, Wind Raiders, Djed obviously doing its part. That's going to be, you'd like to see that being pretty big eventually in the future. And it will, I have no doubt. With all these guys growing, Djed will grow too. But it's awesome to see, Paul, isn't it?
It's good to see TVL grow. And look, I would say Cardano DeFi is still at very early stages. We've a long way to go to catch up with other chains that are out there. And even what you can do technically on other chains yet, we're still a bit limited on Cardano, but you're starting to see more protocols coming out. And it's great to see. Like we said, 2 years ago, we got native assets on chain. It was a good bit after that when we actually got smart contracts. I know we got the early version, September 2021, but realistically, a lot of what DeFi protocols need, we didn't get until the Vassal hard fork last year. So it should come in time. The next few months should bring a lot more projects on board on Cardano, especially in the DeFi sector. And in around TVL, not everyone likes the metric, and some people in Cardano don't like it because the likes of DeFi Llama don't count staked ADA as part of TVL. I can see the argument from DeFi Llama why they don't. They do include staking for some other protocols, like I think Lido and stuff like that. But again, it just highlights the difference between staking on Cardano and staking on other platforms, because with Cardano, you're never locking up your ADA when you're staking. With the likes of Lido or platforms on other protocols or other protocols on other chains, you are locking up, or you're giving whatever the token is, you're giving that to a third party. And that's why they are counting it as being locked TVL. But I see both sides of it. Why it should be. If it was included, I think it would put Cardano as number 2 maybe, or number 3 at worst for TVL.
Yeah,
because you basically take all of the ADA that's locked up.
Yeah, it's
or not
yeah.
locked up.
We don't count it because it doesn't suit us. It's probably the reason, probably their logic. But we'll not get into that sort of side of it. The good thing is that it's growing, and from a bear market perspective, it's actually a really, really healthy indicator if you want to measure something. Okay, we don't like it sometimes. We don't like it, but it's showing the growth. The growth is there. The growth is going to continue to happen. It shows there's value within Cardano, and people are going to use it. You have MinSwap's going to add new stuff with SHEN and Djed. Indigo are releasing new things regularly. Wingmakers is growing now with SHEN already in there, and they're going to be doing other things. MuesliSwap, they're ticking along lovely. Sunday are going to start doing farming and stuff again, aren't they?
We need the proposal to go in on that. That was on my list to go in and check. Did anyone submit it yet? But I must go back and check that. I don't know if there has been a proposal submitted yet. Hopefully it is. They can't restart it or won't restart it until the community passes a governance proposal to restart farming, and also to define the metrics around it of whether it will be daily or monthly, or the amount as well that gets assigned to different different pairs on it. So I will put that on my list to check up this week.
Yeah, and and I seen there was a comment there. Don't know if you can bring it up. That's to keep you on your toes, Paul. Someone had mentioned AADA.
Yeah, ADA.
Yeah, going well. And they're growing slowly. And we'll talk about them later on. I have a tabs open just to go into them later on and and investigate what is going on there. Yeah, just to finish up on TVL, where are we? We're 24th in the world, if you want to call it that. I would say within the next week or two, I would expect us to get close to top 20. It would be great, especially with everything growing. You can see the percentages. I would say even in a month, if everybody's going to continue to grow at this rate, 20, 30, 40%, we should be very close to top 20, I'd say, within the month. That's my hope. No harm in having a target, but that's what I'd like to see. And then it's some of the big players. I love seeing that there's a few out there, like for example Solana. It doesn't work, but it's got a massive TVL. Will not throw any mud today. But yeah, let's hope. Let's try and get top 20, by the end of this year. I'd love to see us in the top 10. I mean, there's no reason why not. But sure, we'll see. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, come the next, as more protocols roll out, we're not there just yet. There's a few things missing, but by the time the next bull cycle really kicks in, hopefully we can be pushing up there. It's crazy to see how far down the Solana TVL. I suppose every chain is down, but it was up in the multiple trillions or multiple billions when it was at its height, I think.
Yeah, a lot of cheating going on there. Plus, I'd say a lot of people, and I don't want to make any fun against it. It's not working very well, but these shutdowns are making people consider where they release their apps. So I'd love to see apps, considering Cardano. I know a lot of people are going to loads of different places. I've seen tweets for different projects and stuff, but good luck to them. Cardano doesn't go down, and that's the key thing of anybody who's leaving Solana. But anyways, what can we do?
All right, let me catch up on the comments before we go to the next topic. Monica is asking about Hypercycle. I haven't looked much into Hypercycle yet. I know it's part of SingularityNet, and it's one of their next projects to come out. NewNet was their first one. They also have Rejuve, I think, is another one they have in around the health sector and medical records. But Hypercycle isn't one I have looked into yet. It's one I meant to. So again, I will try and look into that before next week, or even mention something about it in some of my upcoming videos. Do you look into it, Paddy, at all?
No, and I need to get into that whole ecosystem. Actually, I've been so far removed from it. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's really been popping over the last, I suppose, 2 months at this stage. The whole AI Thinking about opening CDP from Indigo Swap to SHEN and get double the ADA rewards, a small amount. Yeah, you can do that. If you open your CDP to get SHEN, if you open it with ADA and get IUSD and then buy the SHEN with the IUSD, then you could do it that way. You still get your rewards for your initial ADA, and then with the SHEN, you get your rewards there as well. So there's lots of different plays like that, and you can get more degen as you go down the line, as you cycle through it as well. There are definitely videos I need to get out there. Jesse appreciates the tweet, Paddy. Cheers, Jesse.
Awesome.
Cody pitched stable to Binance. Haven't heard any updates on that apart from just Shahaf saying that they had mentioned it on Binance. I don't know. I don't see Binance supporting Djed anytime soon. I think they would be supporting something that's a little bit more proven in, I suppose, in the whole ecosystem, and also something that maybe benefits them a bit better, because right now the liquidity that's in Djed and Cody, or Djed and SHEN, it's nowhere near what would be needed for it to actually be a usable stablecoin. I think there's less than $3 million within it. So in terms of trading, that's still very small.
Yeah. You think about, the volumes or the size of trades that would go on within Binance. There would be guys over there doing trades that would be the total amount of Djed available at the minute, so they need, but they could, Binance could technically come in and make Djed and SHEN with the amount of ADA that they have. So they use it for a lot of their stake pools, but theoretically they could do the same thing and they don't need to run their pools, and they just increase Djed and SHEN. But again, it needs battle tested, I would say. But who knows? They might go for it. They might not. It's good to see that they pitched anyways. There's no harm in doing that. But
as long as they do it with their own ADA and not customer funds, because we've already seen what happened with FTX when they gambled, didn't turn out the best. CBD, sorry, you answered your own question there. Yep. It's already down from 100 to 25 ADA. And eventually that will become a percentage as well. I think it will become a 0.5%. So the total fees, if the 1.5 stayed the same, will be 2. But even the 1.5 may come down in time as well. No problem, Monica. So what have we got next, Paddy?
Yep. I just wanted to point out before we go into so what we have coming up is a ADA, we bit on taptools, and we bit on governance. But I just seen on Twitter that Reuters put out a post about World Mobile, which I think was awesome. So they're at the Mobile World Conference in Spain, and to be tweeted out by Reuters is pretty significant. So they must have got interviewed, and I think Mickey got interviewed by a few people. But it's good to get a spotlight on a project, that's building on Cardano. That's a real world use case. We're all part of it per se. There's a lot of people involved in it, and it's awesome, and it's showing a good light to it. I think it's great. And to be at this conference, which is massive, it says a lot about the project and the people involved.
Yeah, it's great to see them getting some airtime there, and we've talked about it here a few times. We're both involved. Both will be running, Earth nodes in the ecosystem when it's up on mainnet. We're up on the testnet already, but I like it that they're trying to do something different. There's a lot of projects are all very similar within crypto, so it's good to see something different and that can have real world value out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see what the kind of summaries are. From what I've seen, a lot of this is kind of about networking. The conference are at this week, networking. I've seen them with there was some government bodies, there was different connections there as well. So I'm waiting to see the summary. World Mobile have gone better as well, I would say, on their communication. If you follow Twitter or their Telegram updates or stuff like that, they're putting out more regular updates the last while as well, which is great to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Laura says World Mobile going to the US soon. Could be big for WMT ADA. Yeah, they had some tests in the US already, didn't they? Remember seeing the call on the WM network, which was good to see. That was before Christmas, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in around there, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think Africa is their only plan for rolling out, but they have started bringing on paid customers out in Africa as well, which is good. It's a good step. They had some business-to-business customers, which is like just businesses going on, but they've now got some actual normal everyday users paying as well.
Yeah, we'll do a wee bit of a deep dive into that next week, I guess, or the week after, maybe after our NFT week, and check how all that's going. They've released the app in Zanzibar and all the bundle prices, so yeah, we should check that out. And I think the test was in Wyoming. I think that's where they're doing the. I think that's where this was shot. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think that's where that was, that balloon. And just to highlight the testnet, it's ongoing. There's 63 validators at the minute out of roughly 800 and something, I think there's going to be. So there's a slowly but surely ramp up. In that it's still progressing. Still waiting on a timeline on what's the plans for it. So I know the team are probably busy all this week at the conference stuff, but I'd like to see what's coming. It's going to be interesting to see what the roadmap is like for that. I don't think you've seen anything either, Paul, at the minute.
No, haven't seen any dates on mainnet, but I am hoping we get it fairly soon. I think initially Q1 was talked about, but I don't see it by the end of March, just from what I've seen so far. I don't think we would be fully ready at that stage. I'm very happy to be proven wrong. I'd love to be spinning up my node on mainnet by the end of this month, but I would say we're not just there yet, unless you view things different.
No. I think I'd love to see this into a couple of hundred, and then some testnet transaction processes going through, a couple of hundred at a time, whatever it's going to be, and just see how it all holds together. That's what I'm waiting on. But I think what's going on at the minute, we're slowly adding new validators, monitoring how all that's going. There has been changes, version changes, tweaks, fixes, and all that other things. But yeah, it's progressing. That's the main thing. So I just wanted to show that, and it's a good news story on both sides for World Mobile. So let's see what the future holds for them.
Yeah, RealFi is probably a topic for us another week as well.
Yeah,
dive into some of the non-DeFi plays and some of the projects that are trying to do things outside of what your standard crypto projects have done in the past.
Yeah,
that could be a good one to research for some week.
Yeah, definitely. I know DeFi has always taken over, I suppose, but RealFi, I think, is a big topic that I'm more interested in. RealFi more than DeFi. It's sort of my area. I prefer the real world sort of use casey things. I like to have something a little bit more tangible, even though I'm a techie guy and I'm a programmer, but I like to see, I don't know what it is. It draws me more. The real world adoption is my goal for crypto, not some people prefer the whole DeFi ecosystem, but everybody has their flavors. Right.
Yeah.
So ADA. Let's jump in. So we've seen a few comments, few tweets. ADA has been progressing, and people have been mentioning to me, and I've seen a lot of tweets that it's popping off, or however you want to describe it. But what is it? For me, it's a lending and borrowing platform, and was it the first on Cardano?
First native asset lending and borrowing. I think there was NFT ones before. I'm not sure which was the very first one, but ADA is the first lending and borrowing protocol. Slightly different, well, not slightly, very different to what we would have seen on other chains previously with lending and borrowing. This one was peer-to-peer. So basically, let's say with me and you decide you want to take a loan or you want to put up some collateral. You want to put up your ADA and earn a bit of interest on it. You could put that up and say you're willing to lend that out if someone is looking to borrow they're looking to borrow your ADA. You can set all the terms of the actual loan, but it's peer-to-peer, so it's one-to-one. I think lately they've been getting more interest because they've been talking about going to pools liquidity, which is what we've seen with liquid finance, and which people will be more familiar with from other chains as well. With the pools liquidity, the way that works is all of the funds go into one pool, and then all of the fees, the timeline, everything is dynamic. It's not based on with what ADA have live right now. Everything is preset, pre-agreed on. But when you go to pool liquidity, then the interest rates, they're variable. They move up and down all the time, depending on the supply and demand of the ADA or whatever other tokens are in the liquidity pool.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. But here, it seems to be quite busy. And, I haven't dived into ADA, but, there seems to be a lot going on. And we've had a few comments there, actually, where I would say people are quite bullish on it, I would say.
I done a tutorial on it in the beginning and done out some test loans and that, but personally the peer-to-peer loans wasn't a big interest to me. Just I didn't have any use cases for it at the time, but once it goes to pools, then that becomes a lot more interesting at that point. There's lots more strategies and stuff you can do. Look, with what they have with peer-to-peer, there's definitely things you can do, especially around shorting the market and things like that. Mm-hmm. But you have to rely on someone else being on the other side of the trade to do it.
Okay, so once the pool comes in, I don't have to have that weight. If I want to do something, there's likely going to be a buyer and seller at most scenarios.
Yeah, and the interest rates are there to incentivize people to either provide if there's more borrowers than lenders, then the interest rates for the borrowers are going to start to go up and be a lot higher. And then the interest payments to the people providing liquidity will go up as well. So it becomes more interesting for the likes of me if I'm sitting on the sideline and I see that there's a lot of people looking to lend out. I see the interest rates maybe on the providing collateral side have gone up to 5-6%. That really incentivizes me to say, oh, maybe I will put some of the ADA into it and earn a bit of extra yield on that side. And what you see as well with, I don't know what ADA have planned, but you see as well that some protocols to really kickstart getting more liquidity in, they will offer extra incentives at the beginning by giving their token as a reward as well to offer people higher incentives, similar to what yield farming does, where they give out extra rewards to encourage people to give liquidity to the protocol.
Awesome. So that it seems to be going well. And I was wondering, I don't know much about this guy, but so many people are talking about it.
Yeah, Lush Life has a few comments on it. You can long and short with peer-to-peer. Yeah, depending on the loans that you take out, you can long or short the market. You're just relying on someone on the other side. But when you have the pool, it becomes more flexible, I think, or more accessible. They have guides. Yeah, I think they had some fairly decent guides the time I done the tutorial. I have a tutorial on the channel here from when they launched first as well. V2 pool lending to be added soon. Yeah, that's the pool liquidity. Do they have plans for the token? I'm not sure what the plans are for the token. It is their governance token, but I'm not sure if there's plans outside that. Maybe someone else in the comments who's more familiar with the project might be able to answer that one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Hopefully, someone can help. But you can see over the past couple of days, it's been month, I suppose. It's been doing pretty well, and I would say that's probably to do with what you just mentioned, Paul, the pooling and stuff coming in. So that's what a lot of people have been excited about, the growth. And I don't give anybody any advice for that in any way, shape, or form, but it's looking good. If they have a good roadmap, they got good things coming on. Maybe it's oh, that's a good comment. They don't
just when you mentioned roadmap.
Oh,
now
yeah,
I haven't looked into it, so I don't know. But Missy says they don't have a long-term one.
They don't know from one day to the next. Not like myself. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, sure. People are interested, and I wish them the best of luck. And I'll probably get looking into it. I don't borrow or lend much in terms of what I'd be doing. But I might get into it. If I was able to predict the market, I would do it a lot better. But I'm not very good at that, so I'll leave that to the experts, the better traders out there than me.
So what else have you got for us?
Yeah, so just to wrap us up in terms of what's been going on. So there is a workshop ongoing in Colorado, and I've seen a few guys have been tweeting out that they were going to the a workshop on governance, and I think the first day was yesterday, maybe. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this governance workshop, and it sort of highlights what someone was talking about earlier on contingent staking. And we don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but it is, the online debates on Twitter are probably not good for Cardano, for people being interested, for people wanting to maybe invest. It probably looks like it's a crazy house of everybody arguing with each other and not agreeing. People like a nice calm ship and know we're going in the right direction. But these things come and go within Cardano, and we've been doing them for years, and they have resulted in positive outcomes. So continuous staking is one that's something that needs to be sorted out. And governance is probably going to be how we're going to do it. So I think there's going to be MBOs and a few other terms used for how we're going to govern it. There's going to be a charter, and there's going to be rules, and how do we go about doing boats and managing the treasury, and so many things that need to be worked out, because long term, it's going to move away from the likes of IOG and Cardano Foundation being the you could say the current owners and rulers of Cardano, to being decentralized, fully decentralized, and to being in the hands of the ADA holders, and that's the idea. So it's good to see this starting, and I'm going to say this time next year we'll likely have a process or a formula to governance, I could say, that we'll use. But I don't think this is going to be easy. You could see from the contingent staking thing, the arguments and the breakup in the community. Okay, people were saying about 20% weren't happy. Maybe the rest were happy, or maybe they were just accepting it. But I don't want to see any splits in the Cardano community. So we need governance, and we need ways of voting on things, and rather than somebody or some sort of leader saying we're doing this and that's it. That won't work. If people can vote on things, it makes things a lot easier. I'm just looking forward to it, and I can't wait to see what comes out of this. What's your thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, I haven't heard much out of it yet. There are some very familiar faces from the community are gone out to it. So I'm looking forward to hearing some of the feedback on it and what comes out of it. Continued staking, one of the biggest things out of that, or one of the most positive things that I think, there's lots of negatives that have come out of the discussions around it, but one of the biggest things is the push for governance and the importance of we need governance. So I don't know if that was the real kick to push to really kick this off for the governance discussions, for the SIP that's going to come in, to bring in Voltaire. Voltaire is the governance era for Cardano. So I don't know if that was the major kick for it. If it was, then maybe the discussions were worthwhile. I think them discussions, realistically, they're not that important right now, because we don't know what the regulation frameworks are going to be. I don't think the regulators know what the frameworks are going to be. And right now, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses them debates. And by the time we have voting, a lot of people will have forgotten about what the main points are. So I think by the time we have on-chain governance, which will decide things like contingent staking, then the regulation side will probably look very different. Hopefully we'll have more of a picture there, so we know what's actually required or where we might have to make changes. And then that's when I want to see these discussions really happen and people come out and give, not just trying to say the other side is wrong and giving out about people who go on one side of the debate. I want to see people coming out and giving the reasons why they're so strongly in favor of one side, not trying to give out about individuals. I've seen attacks on individuals as well because they have voiced their opinions. Everyone needs to be able to voice their opinion. When we get on-chain governance, that's going to be a very important part, that people do come out and talk about why they would be pro or why they might be against certain proposals, or try and drive the direction of the chain. And that's when governance really comes into play then, and that you can help educate the community. And there will be things like DREPs and stuff like that, that you can allocate your voting rights essentially to DREPs, that somebody you trust, someone in the know, then you can allocate your rights for voting to them if you trust that they're going to drive the chain in the right direction. So I see Hank said there about Big Pay mentioned contingent staking on the L2 only. He agrees. I don't know if that was from, I was on a live stream with Big Pay on Monday, and we talked a bit about this as well. And DC Spark have come out with smart contracts that would allow you to essentially lock your ADA in the smart contract, and you could do contingent staking through the L2 then. So you don't bring contingent staking into the L1. That's really the big area here that a lot of people aren't happy about, in that it could be a slippery slope from contingent staking gets rolled into potential KYC on the chain and having KYC on the L1. So for me, we have a lot of time before things like that get implemented. So I'm not getting too carried away on either side of the fence right now. It's not something I would like to see across the L1. I wouldn't like to see it a full KYC chain or anything like that. We'll see where things go in the future. That's my rant.
Well, we know we're going to be putting you forward for a DREP. We'll have to make a slogan like "Make Cardano Great Again" or something along those lines.
I'll have to get the hats and everything, yeah. I'll have to get rid of DCA, or be no more DCA.
Yeah, no more DCAs. Make Cardano great again. Blue hats, and we'll think of all these other well-used political processes and used to get people elected, and let's go for that. We'll make it the biggest DREP in Cardano. Yeah?
Actually, one thing out of what's gone on the last 2 days, haven't seen or heard any specifics about it, but I seen Pi from Sunday Swap, Pi Lanningham, put out a tweet talking about something around the lines of being extremely bullish on Cardano's future right now. And Patrick from Endmaker, who's also out there, had a very similar tweet as well. So it's good for me, it's good to see that from guys like that who are out there, and guys that I would trust their opinions on where we are, especially from the technical side. Pi has really got into a lot of different areas over the last while, and Patrick has been involved from very early on in Cardano, has had a big hand in the NFT side of things. So two guys that I would trust. So it's good to see them being positive out of this.
Yeah, maybe next time we have Rick on, he'll be able to give us some inside scoop. Because I think he's there also. Yeah,
I've seen Rick out there with having tacos with some others as well. So we'll have to try and get him back on. Let's see what the comments.
Taco Tuesday yesterday. That explains it.
That didn't even click with me. Yeah, that was it.
No matter where he goes in the world, he's got to say.
Hey Gary, good to have you with us. ADA holders get to decide. Informed decisions require discussions and education. Yep. And that's when we do have on-chain governance. We need to be able to have these healthy discussions, and both sides being able to air their opinions on it. The issue today is not about CS. It's the way Charles attacked those who voice their opinions and pretend CS is nothing to worry about. Yeah, I've seen people, while some people weren't happy with how Charles responded to some of it. And I think that's on both sides as well, in that people made it about the individuals rather than about the issue, which is something I didn't like to see. That I want to see it stay open, that anyone can discuss their opinion and voice their opinion. Hank says, keep the main chain agnostic. Yeah, that would be the ideal way to go. This about Charles. Yeah, I do think over the last while that has happened as well. And some people still think that whatever Charles says, that's the direction Cardano is going in. And what happens a lot with the AMAs and stuff like that, I think, is that Charles basically thinks out loud sometimes on possibilities. And I think that's where contingent staking first came from back in 2021, was just exploring the idea of it. And sometimes you see that with the whiteboard sessions, and then news articles come out of these things and people start talking about, oh, this is what Cardano is going to do, even though it was just, this is something that could be done, or it's very easy to take snapshots out of videos or take headlines out of it that wasn't the intended purpose of them.
We're going to have contingent staking and KYC and loads of these other things, and the SEC is taking over. I'm joking. We don't know what's going to happen.
Jason says, have you talked to Wi-Fi lately? I haven't. I know their bar or DEX or both maybe are going on to a private testnet. That was something else I meant to look into and see, can I get access to it? I'm not sure when public is, but I think some people have got access to that already. So I'll dig into that one as well and see what I can find.
Yeah, while we're here,
Paddy, you have heard anything?
No, I haven't. And what I'll do is, just to finish off our stream for the day, I'm going to go over to taptools and just have a wee chat about some of the projects that are sort of moving at the minute. And just to give them a bit of a highlight. And Wi-Fi is one that has been moving. So there's an expectation going on, and it's probably was the private testnet a public announcement?
I'm not sure. Okay. I talked about them in one of the recent, kind of every Monday I started going through, putting out a video looking at the biggest movers for the last week. No, Wi-Fi was one of them. I just can't remember the details of whether it's a private testnet or a public testnet that is out at the minute.
Yeah.
But I will see, can I find it here while you're talking?
Well, price has reacted to it, so there's something going on. I'd say there has been the news is probably spiking the interest. It'll be interesting to see. I'd look forward to them going live. So just to go over Ajax, how do you say that? Ajax, is
it?
No, number one on my list.
AGIX. I think people just seem to say the letters. Singularity Net is the project, but AGIX is the token.
Yeah, still going strong, still flying. What can we do? It's AI is taking over the world. I think with the continued, I was looking at ChatGPT yesterday, and the new feature that's coming out. They've integrated with someone to build and design websites, and you just give it a sentence of a website design that you want, and it builds it and generates it. I'm like, damn, website designers' jobs is going to be out the window pretty soon. I know, and I've seen a lot of people worried about it, but if just feeding into the whole AI thing, AI is very early days, and any projects going into that sphere, I think, they're going to be huge. But sure, God knows what's going to come out from these types of AI places. If there was a crypto or crypto-based version of ChatGPT that did kick off, that would have been massive. But I guess the money involved in creating it is quite high at the minute.
I think Newnet were talking something about that. I don't know if they were doing versions of ChatGPT or always mix that one up. But I don't know if they were doing a version of that or what they were doing. I just remember seeing a post about that they were looking at stuff like that, and they're into kind of sharing hardware GPUs that you can share your unused resources.
Yeah.
So it could be something for them. But yeah, in general, AI is getting kind of crazy. I've started to dive down the rabbit hole and started following a few different people that are putting out content on it. And some of the stuff, I was watching a video today of someone creating a trading bot where you going on to TradingView, taking an indicator, taking the code straight from TradingView, putting it into the AI chatbot and telling it to create a strategy based on that, going back to TradingView, putting it back in, whatever errors come out, take the errors, put them back into ChatGPT, tell it to fix it, it fixes it, and then away it goes. The bot is able to work. Now, if it was that simple to make money, everyone would be doing it. But if you can get a working strategy, you don't have to be able to code yourself. You can get these AI tools to create it for you. And some of the stuff that's out there, some of the impersonations are getting scary with what people can actually generate now.
Well, even that one, I think I sent you the link for one the other day where it takes your YouTube video and generates a script, the whole script from that whole thing. And it's going to make me sound old, but in the past, people had to go and write all that up, to write all that down after of everything that was said on things. So it just converts everything that's spoken into a written script. And it's like, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the one you sent me actually as well, that it goes in and it basically watches the video and creates a summary of it. So it's not just the script of it. So us talking shit here for an hour so far, the AI could come in and summarize it and summarize everything we've said in maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. So what I need is AI ideas, and that's going to be what I'm thinking about all this week. Come up with some amazing AI ideas that I'll probably not be able to build, but if I come up with an idea, it'll still be good. Okay, but AI going good, no problem. Expect more in the future, anyways.
Ajax.
Ajax. Ajax. I can go with that. Ajax. I was saying Ajax. I usually say I don't know if it's just the accent or what. Ajax. But yeah, that helps. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
these Irish accents can sound a bit funny anyway.
Yeah, society's it's going well. It's going well. Is that to do with the poker?
No, society is the PFP that's there for Kronos, the Ape Society.
Oh, yeah.
It's the token. I think they had something out today. I seen it just before the stream, but didn't get to read into it, talking about March is going to be a big month. So maybe there was something there, expectation on what's coming, or maybe they did release details. I haven't got to see it yet.
Okay.
Kronos says, yeah, the Ape Society. One of the biggest, I'd say one of, probably not just the biggest, or maybe it is the biggest actually, with everything they have out now at the marketplace, NFT projects on Cardano.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to do a lot of research for our NFT week coming up. All these things will be new to me.
Coda's mint trailer, I'm not sure. I haven't got to dig into that. Was that what came out today, Kronos? Let's see, anything else? Axo launch date. Haven't heard a launch date on it. Haven't heard anything from them in a while. They put out different posts on Twitter, but it's more general market stuff and about how markets work. Haven't heard anything on the development yet. Meld public testnet. Haven't had access to that myself, so I'm not sure exactly how it went. I know Ken was on Cardano 360 last week he was on it, talking about the latest from them and talking about the cross-chain wallet that they're building. So you'll be able to have Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think BSC, Cardano, all in the one wallet, and building in bridges as well with multi-chain. So I'm not sure. Public testnet should be anytime now.
Yeah, I would expect.
But I haven't. Sorry?
I would expect so. The other one has been going on for a few weeks now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was initially meant to be a 2-week private testnet, I think, but I haven't heard when public's coming out. Let me see. Did I catch everything else in the comments there? I think I did, but if I missed anything, let me know.
Not much reaction on price anyway, so there's probably been no announcements lately anyway. You would expect.
No, it's just been going down the last while.
Yeah. If there had been an announcement, you probably would have seen a good spike on it, but sure. And on Axo, I worry about Axo, you know. I guess it's a difference in principle or process. MinSwap and Wing Riders and Muesli, they're all out there. They're all building. They're all getting their customer base. I think it's going to be hard for them to break in if people are well cemented into what they like. And first mover advantage is a big deal. And, you know, but we'll probably have a chat about that and dive into it one week, Paul, because I do worry about them. And it's not that I don't think they're going to deliver a good product. You can deliver a good product, but not get the customer base, you know, and that's happened massively throughout history. So, and I do see, you know, for me, I use Wing Riders and Muesli Swap. Most of the time, maybe Muesli Swap. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. We'll have to chat about that and catch up and try and get some info on that.
Yeah, they're doing things different than the dexes that are out there already. They're not doing an AMM dex, where AMM dex is where you have to put in 2 assets into the liquidity pool. if you want to provide liquidity on them. They're doing something different with their smart orders, and I think they're looking to go after bigger money as well, not just retail. They're looking to go after some of the bigger industries and get them involved, and that's why they're really going down the lines of KYC. And I think that's a big reason why they backpedaled on the ISPO and have now made it that you have to actually KYC to get their token from the ISPO. So they're just trying to cover all bases there just in case. Because if they go into the institutional side, if you want to trade against some of them pairs as well, you might need to be KYC'd for that.
It feels like they're building from where what I feel is of what they're going to have in the end. And you don't really see it. It's something in between a DEX and a CEX, you know? That's what I feel from where they're going to be, because they're going to have all the features that they're promising are going to be a lot more than any of the DEXs that we have. And you could say a lot of the things they're promising look like Binance and everything that they have with more, but being sort of on Cardano. So it's going to be interesting. You know, we'll have to go into that and see what's going on, try and see if we can find it. When it's going live, who knows, man. I don't know if there's even been a date set for any form of testnet, so we'll have to try and dig something out. We've had a few messages there, I guess, from a few different people. Let's check them out before I move on.
What else do we have? We covered the Ape Society ones from Kronos. He said, the Coda's mint trailer was the one that came out today. Axo is waiting to launch in the next bull market. I haven't heard anything on the audits or anything like that, so I'm not sure the latest on it. Something I should try and follow up on, but they are fairly tight-lipped on timelines. I know even when I had Yarrick on the channel here, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring out, but he wouldn't let anything slip on timelines. He just said it'll launch when it's ready. So that was the longest that I could get.
Nissy.
So they do take swipes at other projects as well. So they are building up that a lot of expectation about what they will launch, because they do give out about a lot of other models. And the AMM model, I think right now the AMM model is the standard across most chains, the standard DEX model. But I think whatever the model that we're going to use long term, it isn't going to be the AMM. I don't know if it's going to be what Axo are bringing out, because we don't fully know exactly how it's going to work with the smart orders. And it seems to be a variation of an order book model with some other features thrown in there. The model that we use in 5 years' time, I don't think it has been discovered yet, where there's smarter people coming out all the time. There's new innovation coming out even on blockchain. So I'd say there will be better models in time. There's variations of AMM DEXs right now with concentrated liquidity and different approaches. You look at Uniswap V3, but even that has lots of impermanent loss as well. So I think we haven't seen the long-term model yet. So first mover definitely has an advantage, but innovation will be able to change that in time as well.
Yep, definitely.
Addicts, were they one of the first movers? Definitely didn't work out well there. You also need the quality team to follow through.
Yeah. Very.
WMT on we talked a bit about World Mobile on testnet.
Yep.
It's good to see. We're hoping for mainnet fairly soon. Will it have preps and futures? I don't know if Axo. I don't think Axo are working on preps or futures yet. I don't know if there's any project on Cardano just yet has solutions like that. That's an area I think will get very big for DEXs, decentralized exchanges, over the next few years. When you look at what Binance done there a few weeks ago, or not actually, it was last week they done it with users in Australia, where one morning or one night, it was nighttime for Australia, everyone's positions were closed. Everyone who had a leveraged position open was closed, and they were told they can't use leveraged accounts anymore. Again, down to unclear regulation and everything that's going on, then Binance decided they would close it. They said it was a mistake that some people were let trade when they shouldn't, and there wasn't that many users. Now they were going to cover anyone's losses as well, so no one should be out of pocket from it. But it's a big push to things like GMX that are decentralized, that no one entity can come in and decide that everyone's positions need to get closed. So it'd be good to see something like that building on Cardano as well. Hey, Grounded Crypto, good to have you with us. And
that's regarding the perps and futures.
Okay. Oh, I must go back and read into that more. So
yeah, maybe they're out of it. I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
It could have been there from the start. They do have a lot of stuff there. They're basically looking to offer everything that a centralized exchange offers, like all of the different order types. And if things launch the way it looks like they will, even with, you can't create bots on it, but you can create your market, your trading strategies, which are similar to bots. So for me, it's definitely one I'd be using a lot if we can do all that. And Nissi, can one become a World Mobile Earth Node operator without having an NFT? No, you have to have the NFT to be an Earth Node operator. And there's only going to be 1,000 of them. So you would need to buy the NFT to be able to be an operator.
So then just back to me. So where were we? We had Ajax is done, Society, ADA, we covered a little bit earlier, going well. Nita, yeah, checked up on those guys recently. A lot of drama on Twitter, but they seem to be progressing rightly in terms of bringing these wrapped assets. A few contentious discussions on the centralized process in B1 and B2 of who's holding the keys to the actual BTC that gets wrapped up and stuff. But their roadmap looks like that'll be decentralized by B3 in it. So it's, it is progressing well. And I think they built up quite a big community. So it was quite interesting for people to be asking those questions. And again, there's nothing wrong with asking questions of these projects. So, and you would, if they don't answer, that's a red flag. If they do answer, and you can either agree or don't agree with it, and do or do not invest. That's the way I see it. So yeah, they're seeing it. Do you know anything more about those guys, Paul?
Not a whole lot more. I look into them last week just because I was covering them, saying about wrapped assets or wrapped Bitcoin coming to Cardano. The testnet is live for Ergo.
Yeah.
And I think mainnet should be out by the end of this month, and we should get the testnet for Cardano this month as well. I've seen them discussions in around centralization of how this would work is that over on Bitcoin, you can send your Bitcoin to whatever address they specify. Who holds that Bitcoin then is the question that was coming from the community, and a few worries about that. But once they have it, then they will give you a wrapped version of that on Cardano. So when they get the Bitcoin, they will create a version of Bitcoin for you on Cardano. So the reasons people would do something like this is if you're holding Bitcoin, you want to unlock some of that value. If you get the wrapped version onto Cardano, you could use that as collateral in some of the lending and borrowing protocols or something else that's coming out. You could use it on Cardano to have that value as well. And the way that it works is there is always that. So if you bring across one Bitcoin, you can bring across any amount. It doesn't have to be one Bitcoin's easy for the explanation. So the one Bitcoin is held by them in whatever wallet, because we don't have smart contracts on Bitcoin yet. So the custodian is probably the bit of an issue over there, but they hold custody of that one Bitcoin for you. And then you have the one wrapped Bitcoin on Cardano to do whatever you want. The worry that people have is that it's very similar to the way bridges work, in that we've seen what happened with Nomad when Nomad bridged in and Nomad was hacked. So the assets that were sitting in the smart contract to back up the bridged assets on Cardano, the assets in the smart contract were gone. So there was nothing to back up the assets that had been bridged to Cardano and to loads of other chains at the time. So that meant they were basically worthless assets then, because there was no way for anyone to redeem the real underlying asset for it. But that's the high level of what they will be.
I'm not a big fan of wrapped assets, and that's basically what you just said about Monad. It's like if it gets hacked, the wrapped asset near enough in most scenarios loses its value. Most of the time it's gone. One thing I was thinking about, and it's probably something to theorize, is like, wouldn't it be good where Djed, you could potentially then maybe it's a trust thing with me, I guess, where Djed and Cody, I could wrap my BTC in there and they give me Djed that I could freely use within Cardano. And then if I want to burn that Djed again and get BTC back, that could potentially be an option that I was thinking for something for them to explore. So then they're not only ADA, but and SHEN, but also maybe BTC and other crypto asset backed. I think they're planning on having some other assets in their backing, but that's where I would probably trust a bit more, because if it did get hacked, okay, I could probably be done other things with my Djed, what I was probably going to do. And I don't instantly am at the risk of my wrap BTC being worthless. So it's just something I've thought about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are very similar in terms of wrapped assets or bridged assets. It's there's always lots of risk there.
It's a hacker's paradise, apparently. I think last year especially, there was all sorts going on all over the place. Let's see, Nunet, isn't it? And NTX.
Yep, part of Singularity Net as well.
Yeah, they're taking over Cardano by the looks of it, the way they're pumping up.
Yeah, been doing very well lately, again, in around the AI narrative. And I think they should have their public beta or public test net coming out very soon. I was reading about that. It's a project I follow. It's one I am a fan of. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. Yeah, their public alpha countdown is on. So people expecting that fairly soon, which definitely is helping with the push up in the price of the token. And they seem to be very active. They're giving updates all the time, which people like to see, that you have transparent projects that are active within the community and letting you know what's actually going on, and they're highlighting issues, and then fixes come fairly quickly after that as well, which is always good to see.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I had looked at them a while back, but they seem to be progressing lovely. So yeah, obviously increasing in popularity is a clear sign of price going up. When is public alpha coming?
It doesn't say. I'm looking at the Twitter here. It just says the countdown is on.
Okay, that would signify maybe soon.
Yeah, latest edition came out today, but I don't see a date on it just yet.
Let's keep our eye on that.
Yeah.
And not to go too much more than the list, go down a few more. Cornucopius is doing well. You're a big fan of these guys, aren't you, Paul? You've been more into the metaverse space than myself. They must be releasing a good amounts of news lately, yeah?
Yeah, Copy are another project that are very transparent. Every week they do a video talking about the latest of what's going on. Yeah. And it started to get a lot of interest, a lot more interest lately, I would say. And it definitely has helped the price. So they've started to release a few more things and showing a bit more from inside of primarily they're showing a lot of the racing game, but they showed images, and I think they showed some videos as well of Solace, which is one of the areas in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. So it's a project I think has a lot of potential longer term as well. One that I, disclaimer, hold the token and hold NFTs in it because I want to be able to build in the metaverse as well when it does come out.
We can start doing streams and stuff in there, I believe. It's a big good idea. Jeff, yeah. That's it for me on the overview of what's been going on. Just wanted to point out a few projects and give a bit of an interest in what's popular and what's not. I'll not go into the what's not. There's a lot of junk out there.
Yeah, I see Christopher's comment there. I'm not sure, Christopher, to be honest. Talking about some of the founders Singularity Net, I haven't seen anything on that. I can look into it and see if I can find anything out, but not something I'm aware of yet. Just saying, someone our Crypto Face was talking about it in one of his streams. You aware of any of it, Paddy?
No, that's news to me. Definitely
All
for
right.
me. So I think I've covered all my topics, Paul. So I guess for now, if anybody has anything they want us to discuss or any questions, feel free to throw it out. I'm at the end of all my topics. I have a few more that I'm planning for next week, and just to let everybody know, we're planning a NFT sort of themed. No DeFi, no RealFi, no contingent staking, no governance. Mainly just NFT projects, and that's it's to help me out too. I've only been ignorant to the whole NFT space. It's not that I'm not interested. It's just so big now. There's so much going on, and
Yeah.
even 56 Hope Road. I do have a Playmates plot of some sort. And I did see the sandbox deal come up, and I thought, oh, awesome, that's got to be good for the project. Did you see much about that, Paul?
Haven't seen much on what it's going to be. Only you can have. Sorry, you're going to show your screen there.
No, I was just gonna see if the token had react.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of what it's actually going to be. Only that I think you can use your Claymates, the NFTs within Sandbox as well. So would be good. I was happy to see it. It's good to see cross-chain ventures like that, and hopefully it's the first of many that we see. I know Sandbox hasn't got the popularity that it used to have during the last bull market, but when things start to pick up again, maybe we see the same type of interest there again. But good to see cross-chain stuff like that happening. Cheers, Christopher. We'll give it another minute. If anyone else has questions, if you haven't hit like, please do so. Really do appreciate it. Helps others find the video and even share it out. People can watch the replay if they want to sit through us here, if they can last that long. And subscribe if you're new. Every Wednesday we do this. I put out other Cardano-related videos during the week as well. But anything else from you, Paddy, while we give people a minute?
No, not much at the minute, Paul. I think I'm all good. There's a lot going on. So if there's anything that people see out there, that try and tag us in some tweets. It's hard for me to keep track of the would you say everything that's building. So projects releasing testnet information, or going to mainnet, or doing roadmap changes, or just anything, tag us in them. It'd be great. I try and keep track and go through them all and go through their Twitters and see what's going on. But anything you want others to know, feel free to let us know.
Yep, definitely. Tag me on Twitter is generally a good place, or send messages as well if you want us to take a look at something like that. There's so much stuff going on. It's hard to always keep up with it. What was this one? Is it true Ireland has all the good Toyotas from the 80s and 90s? Can you guys drift? Afraid I can't drift now.
No, I don't think I can either. I tried a few times and it hasn't worked, so I'll not try it again.
You really need a rear wheel drive would be handy for that. I know when I was younger, there was a few people had cars. What were the Levine? I think was the one. There used to be a few of them going around.
Oh, I don't know it now.
Cheers, Hank. Thanks for joining in. Brooke, cheers. Appreciate you joining in. Good effort. I don't know if that's for you for trying anyway, Paddy.
Oh, God, no. Wouldn't be me.
The Levine was 86s.
There you go. You know your cars, Paul. You know your cars.
It just used to be a popular one with boy racers when we were younger. Not many could get them though.
Yeah.
But I think that looks to be it. I don't see much more coming through on the chat. Yep. Everyone that tuned in, got involved in the conversation, really do appreciate it. Back again next Wednesday. If there's better times actually as well that suit people, that might be easier for live streams, let us know. But we've been here. This was episode 9. So I think one episode was before Christmas, and this is our 8th week in a row then after Christmas, which is looking good. We're consistent.
Doing all right. Doing all right. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. And
all right, cheers guys. Appreciate it. We will talk to you next week, and I'll have a few more videos coming out the rest of the week. Also, Paddy's channel is in the description down below. Make sure you subscribe over there as well for, I suppose, a lot more World Mobile content over there.
Thanks very much.
Cheers guys.